What sequel do you refuse to acknowledge the existence of? There is only one Highlander movie. Why has nobody said Son of the Mask? There are no Home Alone movies past 2. Somebody tried to tell me there was a 5th Die Hard movie. They were clearly lying. The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor or some shit. Pirates of the Caribbean ended with At World's End. Anything beyond the original trilogy isn't real and can't hurt me. The ending of Scrubs, where JD is looking at images and scenes of the future while Peter Gabriel sings Book of Love, is simply amazing. Then he leaves the hospital never to be seen again and nothing else happens. I hear some people refer to something else, but I believe that was some spoof or YouTube fanfiction thing that doesn't really count. Good Will Hunting 2 hunting season. Independence Day. There was only one in my mind. Mulan 2. Miss Congeniality. Pacific Rim 2. Goddamn garbage. Harper Lee only wrote O.N.E. book, am I right? Any sequels or spin-offs of The Crow should be destroyed. That movie was. Mean Girls 2. Which isn't really a sequel and really is just a low-budget direct-to-DVD cash grab, but I still try to forget it exists for a reason. Nauseated face. Alien had exactly one sequel, Aliens. They nuked the site from orbit, Ripley killed the last one, story over. Blues BR, I can't even say it. Space Jam, never 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 never. All the Disney sequels that were direct-to-video. Even the ones considered canon, like the Lion King sequels. Edited because this got a lot of good points. Everything with Robin Williams is not included. Otherwise, the list stands. I'd forgotten he was in Aladdin too. The Aladdin film is its own issue, and Robin is the best part of it. Period. Joe Dirt 2. The original was comedy gold. The sequel was an abortion. S. Darko. Pensive face. If they ever made a 3rd or 4th Aliens movie, I'd probably disregard those. It's not a movie, but I'm glad got ended at S6. The cracks were definitely starting to show. X-Men Dark Phoenix. It's a train wreck from start to finish. Any Terminator movie beyond T2. Jaws 2 and all of the Jaws after. I'll just acknowledge the first if anyone ever says Jaws. The others never happened. You seen Jaws? Yeah, it's great. What about the sequels? Huh? Toy Story 4. The 3rd one ended just fine. Pacific Rim Uprising. They just did not care as much as they did when making Pacific Rim 1 foot. Godfather 3. MIB, the 3rd one ended perfectly. The Sex the City 2 movie. And literally all of them just like that. This would be a trick question after all if I refuse to acknowledge the existence of it. How can I tell you what it is? It doesn't exist. However, for the sake of academic exercise, I will hypothetically say that if a movie called Highlander 2: The Quickening existed, I would certainly have to denounce it. On this one occasion, I will mention Blues Brothers 2000. Never watched it, don't ever plan to, and once I click post will go back to pretending it doesn't exist. Boruto. Season 9 of Scrubs. Bad Santa. Dumb and Dumber. The Houses October Built. Grave Encounters. Super Troopers. Anything after T2. Anchorman. Jason X. I'm sure there's more. This is just off the top of my head. The Boondock Saints. Pocahontas 2. That shit was so bad, loudly crying face. American Psycho. I'm glad they only made 3 Indiana Jones movies. The Last Crusade was the perfect end to the trilogy. The Matrix was an awesome movie. So odd they never made a sequel. Generally speaking, I don't do this. I can acknowledge the existence of things I don't like. However, although I acknowledge the existence of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, I'm not sure whether I've internalized it as part of the continuity of the books or it's just kind of its own thing in my mind. I've only read the script. Haven't seen a production of it. Since you never said movie, I'm gonna go with Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. What even was that? Anything Game of Thrones. They fucking ruined the last season and I was so pissed off. Scrubs only has 8 seasons. Any sequel to Dumb and Dumber. Mean Girls 2, Legally Blondes, Grease 2. These movies are fake and never happened. Rocky 5. There's 3 Fast and Furious movies. Yes, it ends on Tokyo Drift, eat me. Escape from LA. A Christmas Story 2. I will forever love the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. Pacific Rim Uprising. Toy Story 4. 3 had the perfect ending. The Disney Star Wars movies. Except for Rogue One Foot. The Mummy 3 Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Just, no. Taken 2-3. My husband refuses to watch Zombieland 2 and pretends it doesn't exist. He just thinks the first was perfection. Ben 10 Omniverse. Ultimate Alien was a great place to end the franchise. Strangely, I only want the first Hostel to exist. After everything the guy went through, how could they do him like that in the second movie? Highlander. So glad they didn't make any sequels and make the whole premise ridiculous. No TV shows either. Just one nice movie. Caddyshack 2. A complete disaster. Never happened, in my mind. There is one Jurassic Park movie, that's it. Any Highlander aside from the original movie and TV series. The Cursed Child isn't the 8th Harry Potter book. CHUD 2 Bud the CHUD. The original CHUD. Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers was a cult classic horror flick that I recommend to those who love the genre. For CHUD 2 Bud the Chud they made it into a zombie horror comedy. It had little to nothing to do with the original and was terrible. I paid to see it at the drive-in in anticipation it would be like the first film. What a disappointment. Indiana Jones 4. Bourne movies after 3. U.S. Marshals. Sicario 2. The Promised Neverland Season 2 never existed. The second season of 13 Reasons Why. Star Wars 7, 8, and 9. Godfather 3. To Kill a Mockingbird is a lone work. The Next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank. 28 Weeks Later. IDK. It just never captured the charm and feeling of the first one. Die Hard. The first was gold. The sequel was ridiculous and way over the top, the third was kinda entertaining, but not amazing, and 4 and 5 were just trash. Speed 2, that shit was a fever dream. There was only ever any Wreck-It Ralph movie. It ended and everyone was happy and Ralph and Vanellope got respect and love within their games, and Ralph never turned into a clingy weirdo or anything. Yep. Thank God absolutely no sequel exists. In all seriousness though, that movie genuinely ruined the original a little for me solely because it's tied to its name. I can forget about it, but knowing other people tied a masterpiece to a really bad movie is just tragic. Grease 2. Land Before Time 1 is the only Land Before Time. I'm trying to forget anything but the first Matrix. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Thank God Donnie Darko never had a sequel, because that movie was perfect. Clerks 3. Kevin Smith took a huge shit all over the Universe and negated everything in Clerks 2. He really, really fucked up with that movie. Sandlot 2. Movie doesn't exist. Toy Story ended at 3 as far as I'm concerned. Toy Story 4. The last Matrix movie. Terrible.